Okay, here we go. It is already another wonderful morning, and I feel like I had interesting stuff to talk about, but of course, I was thinking about it well before I got in my car, and now I don't know what I was going to talk about. I have fallen in the habit of kind of giving you guys an update until I hit the highway, and then circling into like where my topic is for the day. So we'll probably just continue that pattern and hope that by the time we get to the highway, I did not pack a lunch. I need to do that because yesterday I purposely didn't pack a lunch, and I bought a lunch, which is fine. It's not the end of the world, but I don't want to buy a lunch every day. So I really need to. My whole schedule's been messed up because I've been coming in at 5 to train somebody. And then, of course, I have to go to bed early so that I can wake up in time. And it's just been a whole thing. And like today, I woke up extremely early, but I did not. Ooh, I knew that was going to happen. I need to fix that. Anyway, I woke up extremely early, and I decided not to come in early because I keep getting taken advantage of, where I come in at 5 and then still stay till 4, and basically am working 12-hour shifts instead of 10. So that's been fun. I need food. And then there's my 6 o'clock alarm. It is officially 6 o'clock. Oh, I wonder if you guys can hear me all the way in the house. This will be a fun little experiment to play. I need to work on my weed eater. I just hate my weed eater. I hate weed eating. The thing always just doesn't function properly, and I don't know what's wrong with it, but I might only pack like a chicken breast and some peanuts for lunch. No, I have more than one chicken breast in the fridge. I thought I only had the one, but I've got more than one. And then some peanuts. And it's a weird month because my payment is on a Wednesday, so I have to basically make it halfway through next week before I finally get paid, which is relatively annoying, but I don't know. It's been over a year now since I've been salaried, and I still am struggling mightily with this whole monthly payment thing. I don't get it. Feel like I would have it figured out by now. And I think it's just because a month is a very long period of time. It's hard to know at the start of the month what all you're going to have going on. And then you get most of the way through the month, and sometimes you're like, wow, that was a really good month. I didn't spend a whole lot of money. And then other times you're like, ooh, that was a horrible month. And that's just like, I did feel like I didn't spend a whole lot this month, but it's cutting it really close. And part of it is the savings that I'm throwing in there, but then I have to like turn around and dip into my savings because I spent more than I intended to. And like, can I hold out for this month and a half without touching anything financially? I don't know. The only big payment that I have lingering at this point is the next minute of Compression Man, and I might just have to tell him to wait until the 1st of August for that. And then try and reset everything and hopefully actually be able to reset everything. And then from there, see, and it's oftentimes it's usually one major payment that I'm like, okay, well, if I hadn't have done this month, then I would have been fine. But it's always like a back and forth kind of game where it's like, well, you don't ever know. And part of it is like the balance of living. Like, I don't want to be so focused on my finances that I'm just not doing anything every day, and then because of that I'm just living in a constant state of nonsense. But at the same time, like, it's very easy for things to get out of hand as well, and I think that's why it is also nice to have savings accounts that are outside of my regular bank account, because I don't see it every day, and so therefore I am not tempted to spend it. And I think that is kind of where I'm getting to at this point with some other things, is I just have a whole lot that I am trying to manage or figure out, and it's just not ideal right now. But if I just let it be and do what I need to do, then I can probably just be fine. That person is driving very quickly. So now we're on the highway. I'm trying to figure out what I was going to talk to you all about today. I have quite a bit of things going on. Life continues to be intrusive. My schedule is all sorts of screwed up, and I just really don't have the will to try and do much right now. And like, that really is a bad excuse. I live my life by the idea of like, no excuses, you aren't making excuses for yourself and all these things. But my whole schedule has just been absolutely screwed these last couple of weeks, where it's like I'm staying late at work every day. I'm just busting it every day at work, and I get home and I don't even want to think about doing anything. And then like, I have days like yesterday where I was at home at like 4:30 and I could have very easily gone to bed right then and there. And I was like, no, there's too much to do. But then of course, like, because I was home late and I woke up so dang early, like I need to go to bed at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and 7:20 came super quickly. And I was like, well, I'm still in the middle of trying to do something, so trying to manage my sleep and everything. It's just like my life is in shambles right now, and I want nothing more than for it to just not be, but that right now has not proven to be easily accomplished or anything really. And so it's very difficult because there doesn't seem to be any light at the end of the tunnel at this point. It's just like, well, you're just gonna perpetually exist in the way that you exist and hope to gosh that eventually you figure something out. And I don't really know at this point what there is to figure out, what there is to know, or anything like that, but I do know that I am trying my darndest to get, and that's what this week was supposed to be, getting my life back together. I had that concert on Sunday, which was a big feel-good moment, and I was coming off of a major high on Monday, and it was like just immediately just dissolved. And that is the power of this negativity that I work in. It's immediately dissolved. And I guess I could talk about like the American dollar, because I thought that the US dollar was like the standard currency, but I've heard people talking about like it was due to fall, or maybe had already fallen. And I wonder that because like I was looking to buy something in euros not too long ago, and the music license that I was buying or paying a fee to use or whatever, the person wanted $200 in euros, and $200 in euros is actually like $216 in American money. And I thought that like if American money was the standard, then it would be worth more than any other currency. But if that were the case, then the American dollar would go further than the euro. So $200 euro money would be less than American money, right? I don't pretend to be a financial major, but I feel like that's how it works, because I've bought products from Canada before who they wanted, for example, $200 for something, and in America it was like, I don't know, 170 bucks. And so it's like, that's a more understandable exchange rate. And then there's like people in the Philippines. A lot of Americans will take their life savings and then build a house in the Philippines completely paid for and just live there. And I don't know that the Philippines is that great of a place to live, but the American dollar goes that much further there than it does here. And so with that being considered, it's very interesting to me to be like, okay, well, now I need to figure out what the next thing is, and why is it? Am I misunderstanding what the world currency is, or how currency works? Like, in my opinion, or by my understanding, if the euro is more expensive than the dollar, then that means it's worth more than the dollar, because it takes more dollars to equal 1 euro. Just like how with Canadian money, I don't know what Canadian money is called, sorry guys, but just like with Canadian money, if it takes more Canadian money to equal 1 American dollar, then that would mean that the Canadian money is worth less than the American dollar. And under that same exchange and understanding, I wonder how many Canadian dollars it takes to equal 1 European dollar. It's really interesting to look at these things, but and like I said, it's not like it's some insignificant difference, like $200 European in euro versus $216 American. Like, that's almost 20 bucks, and 20 bucks is like the new dollar in America, if you will. People have been saying that for a while, but there's very few things. Like, if I were going into a store with a $20 bill, there's very few things that I would be able to buy in a dollar bill less than 20. Not saying that everything costs $20 or more, but like, I wouldn't be able to buy something with just a $10 bill. It's very difficult to do that. It's even more difficult to buy something with just a $5 bill. And then you talk about trying to buy something with a dollar bill, and that's not even physically possible, I don't think. But the American dollar has inflated its value, and apparently been devalued to the point where there is other currencies in the world that are worth more than it. And it's like, how is that determined? I'm not a financial major. I don't pretend to understand financing or finances in that way. But how is that understood? Like, how do I get that kind of understanding out of things? And it's interesting to me to try and figure out what that is and what that looks like, and just really trying to keep things going and keep things interesting. I feel like as I'm driving, I get off topic here. We're talking about financial currencies and how they retain their value in things like that. And unfortunately, that is just not something that I know a whole lot about, but something I wanted to talk about because it's something that I have interacted with recently that was on my mind. I was like, you know what? I wonder what it's like to be able to understand finances that much better, and I hope that I can. But it's all in all just a very interesting kind of concept to understand and to hope to understand. And I don't know that I hope to understand it, if I'm being honest. I'm just curious enough about it. Like, is that a thing? Like you hear these stories and you don't know if they're like conspiracy theories or if they're backed by facts, but of the fall of the American dollar and how it used to be the standard currency. And like, by my understanding, if something is a standard currency, that means everything else should be worth less than it. But if everything is worth more than it, then it's no longer the standard. I wonder what the standard currency in the world standard currency is. Are we moving to the euro? Or is there another one? Is it the Chinese money, the yen? If that's right, I don't. Like I said, again, I'm not some financial guru. I'm just curious and talking about money right now. Trying to understand the exchange rate, as they call it. And continuing to wonder what it is I can do. And that's really what it comes down to. Hoping to have a better understanding of the things I don't understand. And, yeah. I am driving through town now, which again, maybe that's the difference. I've always been like, what is the difference between driving to work and driving home from work? Because I always feel like when I'm driving to work, my drive through town is not very like cluttered at all. But then when I'm driving home from it, I feel like it takes me forever to get through town. And it must be traffic, because like right now there's nobody on the road, and I'm also getting super lucky and I'm hitting all the green lights. And I'm just like, okay, so it must be this idea of there's probably more traffic when I'm going home. Just in general, like, because you would think that the road, if the road isn't popular when I'm coming to work, then it should be just as unpopular when I'm going home from it. But more often than not, I'm coming home at a time that is closer to when the rest of the world's going home than it is when I should be going home in respect to my hours. And then there's also the idea that I am just, there's generally more traffic on the roads on the afternoons than there is in the morning times. And so you just add the general traffic of the afternoons to the day off work traffic, and you have the reason why it takes me 3.5 hours to get through town on my way home versus the 5 minutes it takes me to get through town on the way to work. And it would be very nice to be able to understand that a little better, but I think that's probably the reason. I've been thinking about it a lot lately as I record these videos, and like I said, I almost never have a concept after work that I can talk about. And so I'm always just sitting in my car trying to wrap my brain around something, and like my brain's fresh off of work concepts, so we're just stuck in thinking about work stuff and really trying to figure out where the heck we are in life and what the heck we're doing, and like, what is this person doing? Learn how to park. And then yeah, I just really hope that I can break through this world some way or another. And I keep watching these videos about people who look up the success of YouTubers and things of that nature, and I think that it's important to point out that, like, one of them was like, okay, the average person doesn't blow up on YouTube anymore until they're like 8 years in. And that's kind of like the same thing with just a normal job now. Like, you can't get in a normal job and expect to be making the big money like a year into the job. That's just unrealistic. The difference between normal work and YouTube is they'll at least pay you something while you're getting to be known, where with YouTube you're getting paid nothing until you're getting paid something, and that's what makes it harder to stick to and to commit to. But at any rate, it has been a solid morning. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for stopping by.